Hey everybody, welcome to Cinema Sesh. I'm AJ Hamilton, and
wait for it,
this is Jay Salahi. We saw the 17th installment of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Taika Waititi's comedy space opera,
Thor Ragnarok. Ha ha ha!
So worth it. We're talking about Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, the third of the Thor movies, and as we said, the 17th in the MCU film series, which is it's crazy. It's been going on since 2008 now with Iron Man.
That's
and here
right.
we are in November. I have to apologize at first because this is actually not anything negative on the movie, but as you can tell, we're a little late reviewing this movie. But
That's right.
this is the first superhero movie since Green Lantern that I did not see opening day.
Whoa. That's a milestone, man.
Yeah, it shows how nerdy I was.
You're either getting lazy or you're growing up. I don't know which.
That's good.
So, what were your initial, walking out of the theater? What did you feel about this, man?
All right, so walking out of the theater, or actually I say walking into the theater.
Okay.
I was pretty excited for it, obviously. I mean, the trailers were great.
Well, it got a lot of hype in
It had
between
a lot
the
of hype
time.
in between, but it was an MCU movie, and I was expecting to have the similar problems and issues, but like the same things out of it. And when I walked out, it was fairly what I expected, but I gotta be honest, I guess compared to everything I heard, I was slightly disappointed.
Okay.
I definitely liked the movie. It was fun, but I didn't think it had really any sort of dramatic stakes, and I didn't think there was any tension or any in the action sequences. You know, I never got on the edge of my seat. You know, you want to laugh, but you still want to lean in and be scared for a moment. I didn't really get that side of it, and I definitely thought the first act was a little clunky, a little choppy, and overall, I think they went for fun, which was, I mean, everyone keeps saying that, which is what they go for, but sometimes I like a little bit more than to be full from my tacos. I like a little bit sprinkles of some more ingredients on top.
A little cilantro.
A little cilantro,
Yeah, I get that. No, I agree with you, but I liked it that it was just a ride, man. It was such a free flowing thing that didn't. Like, the stakes, they were middling. You know, you couldn't really get into it thinking that anything significant was going to happen. I will say there are a couple of deaths in this that shocked me, but they had no weight to them at all. But no, I went out there with a grin on my face. Did its job, and it's just pure fun, like most of the critics are saying.
Yeah,
you know,
it almost feels so boring saying that, but you know, that's what it is. But for me, you know, there were some things which we'll dive into a bit. But like, you know, the Warriors 3, which everyone's talking about, just a little bit I like the idea of killing them all, but I just thought it was slightly mishandled. I thought overall the movie maybe had a little bit too much green screen CGI, looked a little flat, and there wasn't maybe enough depth for me. But
that's
Taika brought his personality to it, and I appreciate that. And overall, that's the strongest thing in the movie.
And I think that's one of the biggest problems with one, the MCU, and two, the Thor movies, is that they are, other than Guardians of the Galaxy, they're the most world creating. Yeah. Because Asgard is completely fake. I mean, they do some sets, but it's got to be filled in completely with green screen. Yeah. I mean, most of the time.
I feel like they could find a way to use it a little bit more. But the biggest thing this movie did, talking about comparing to the Thor films, the first two Thor films they're not, I wouldn't call them space movies, they're fantasy movies, right? Yeah. They just happen to be in another realm, but it's like, they're more of a Lord of the Rings, it's a Norse mythology, which we're about to talk about, Ragnarok, right? But this is kind of taken into, this is more of a space opera, not space opera, but spacey, you know, space version of Thor, I feel like, which the other ones were trying to do more of the old school, more Shakespearean aspect of it.
Absolutely, and it's definitely got that cilantro of Guardians of the Galaxy in it.
Term over here.
I know, I'm going with it.
It definitely visually feels like a sister or brother to Guardians of the Galaxy, like a sibling. It's not quite the same, but you know, they use colors and maybe they match them up differently, but it's trying to use the same overall.
Funny enough, speaking of Guardians, did you know that the Grand Master played masterfully by Jeff Goldblum?
My favorite person in the world.
I know.
Actual fact.
You've met him.
And I have met him.
That's right, at a jazz club, right?
It was the greatest moment of my life. Ugh. Actually, the same jazz club. I think it might be the same jazz club he met his current wife in. But that's because he plays there, like, actually, if you live in LA.
Yeah, he's got a
residency
there.
He's there every Wednesday if he's not out of town. That's like his thing. He's like, if I'm in LA and I'm there and it's Wednesday, he goes and he just plays.
Check out the Rockwell. Actually got a lot of friends who work there.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good place to frequent. I enjoy it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Speaking of his character in this, he is. I don't know if it's in the MCU, but it's at least in the Marvel.
The answer is yes.
Thing.
I know AJ.
Yes,
I know. Oh, he is related.
He's related to Benicio del Toro's Collector.
Yes.
In the first.
They mentioned that it was, but they never touched on that in the movies. But there was interviews where they said yes, that is the case.
Well, I wanted to talk about the relation to the comics actually.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about. Yeah. Actually, so this is not only taking from Norse mythology, right? Because that's what Thor is based off of the comic. Mm-hmm. But it's taking from Ragnarok was a comic series of Thor.
Correct.
But then there was also Planet Hulk. Everyone keeps talking about.
Planet Hulk, World War Hulk,
and World War Hulk are the things I keep hearing. And they took those and meshed those into one.
Well, they meshed it into one, and then they added on something called Contest of Champions, which was a massive overall thing. But Ragnarok in Norse mythology is actually Norse for Fate of the Gods or Twilight of the Gods. And it's about future events, great battle, ultimate death of all of the main gods that we talk about, Thor, Heimdall, Loki, Odin. And then it's going to natural disasters. There's going to be a flood, and then the gods will return. And it's sort of like the Noah thing mixed with Adam and Eve, because 2 human survivors will repopulate the world.
Okay, yeah. So that's the Norse mythology version
but
of it.
That really doesn't play into it at all.
No, but I mean, those themes you can tell from the actual. I mean, how old are those Norse mythology? I mean, they're 1,000 years old?
Thousands. Yeah.
So I mean, those still the same themes and same thing outlines play out, kind of broad strokes in this movie with the ending and everything, and having to take an arc off of Asgard and so forth and everything. Right. So it plays into it. But this movie starts out and it's Thor.
Yeah.
Alone, just spinning in a chain, right?
Well, he's locked up in a cage.
Well, he's
first,
locked up in a cage,
and then he's spinning, talking to.
Oh, and he's talking.
Surtur.
And right off the bat, I mean, Taika Waititi is the new director of this movie. If you've seen his previous film, he definitely likes starting his movies with narrations. If you've seen Boy is the movie that Marvel claims got him this. I actually really like Boy.
It's a beautiful film.
You've seen it too?
Yeah, I have.
So I've seen his Boy, and then he also did What We Do in the Shadows, the great vampire parody mockumentary movie.
Where he worked with his collaborator from Flight of the Conchords, Jermaine Clement. Yeah.
And then he also did what's that?
Hunt for the
Wilder People with Sam Neill.
That's right.
And then you just meant, and also Eagle versus Shark.
Eagle versus Shark,
which is the only film I have not seen.
I haven't seen it either.
So I will say, actually, out of those 4 films that I have seen by him, I would say Thor's probably my least favorite of the 4.
Well, it's the most commercial.
I guess it is the most commercial, but he definitely had his flair to it. But they all 3, I think, or Boy and Hunt for Wilder People, have some sort of like narration at the beginning, I think, right?
I think so. Yeah. And he actually starts out the What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, and he starts
where
out
he's narrating, giving the introductions and stuff like that. So he likes to put himself in his movies.
Yeah, he plays Korg in this too, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's he's the big rock monster, which we've actually seen another big rock monster that
was murdered by Thor.
Physically more similar to what Korg looked like in the comic books.
In Thor the Dark World.
Thor the Dark World. Yeah, exactly. And then Korg is a bit of a new design in this movie.
Yeah, he's like a little blue,
flatter head.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I absolutely love Korg in this.
No, Korg is fun.
He's a Taika Waititi is a great actor, along with being a great director, and the like Bush New Zealand accent that he gives to this separates him so much. Also, you were talking about Green Lantern.
Yeah.
He was in Green Lantern.
I know.
I completely forgot that.
So I have a thing against Taika Waititi and superhero films.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I had to take a break. I was like, no, I can't do it. I remember last time you were in one. But anyways, I want to go back to the beginning. We were talking about the narration.
Yes.
So the movie starts, Thor's in the cage.
Right.
And there's the narration, as we were just discussing.
Yes.
And it's from the get-go, it's a different type of movie, as we were already talking about. It's hilarious.
His cadence is so much different.
Yeah.
He's not talking in the old Shakespearean type of faux Shakespearean.
Well, Taika was talking about how he wanted him to sound like, he's a rich kid who now has been on Earth for a while. So now he has this like kind of pompous like Earth rich kid kind of, attitude, and speaks more in that way to think what he thinks is cool.
Yes, yeah.
But he doesn't quite understand exactly what the Earth terms mean, which gives him this kind of like floaty sense of humor he was talking about.
Right.
But the movie starts out in the very beginning. I was like super thrilled with it. I was like, oh, this is great.
It rises from the flames in the Marvel
and just the setting. I'm like a big fan of fire and the cool. canyons. And what you were talking about, the rising in the flames was like, that was the perfect thing ever. Because I'm all about integration of a title to a title sequence to the shot or something, linking
Absolutely.
it. And there wasn't a, excuse my language, bullshit fucking intro like the last couple Marvel movies that have this like pre-logo like scene. Yeah, but there's a scene before that is always unnecessary. That was my biggest problem.
Oh, I see. Like a cold open.
Like a cold open. Like
thing,
Thor 2's cold open was the worst thing I've ever seen in the history of my life. And it ruined the entire film.
Yeah.
Which I won't get into
like
now.
the review of the whole history of it all.
The whole movie, so it makes it pointless.
Yeah.
But, they've been doing this thing they've been getting caught in, like, even with Guardians 2 and some other stuff, I didn't feel like they needed to do it.
Right.
But I'm glad they avoided that and just jumped right into it.
Totally.
They go from there, he defeats Surtur, they play the music from the trailer, the Led Zeppelin theme.
Yes.
Which I was glad because, a lot of times when they play music in a trailer, it's just in the trailer. And you kind of start associating that with the movie, but it's not in the film ever. But this was actually in the film twice.
My girlfriend saw this with a friend of hers, and we talked about it after I had seen it.
Okay.
And she was like, oh my God, you didn't have to see any of the previous movies to know what was going on. And I was like, oh my God, I appreciated this so much more because I had just seen some of the earlier movies. There was so much in stuff. And she was like, oh, I didn't... It was all just completely laid out, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, okay,
but that's
cool.
Because, no offense to Natalie here, but people are looking at, they're just going for, it was entertaining. That's what I keep talking about. Yeah, so she's going in and thinking, it was fun for 2 hours. But the best version of this movie, that's another big flaw with it. Yes, you can 100%, you can watch it without seeing the other Thor movies.
Sure.
But that statement is also like, works on two levels. Is like, the fact that a lot of the comedy stuff hinges on seeing other Marvel films. Like, if I had never seen any of the other if I had never seen an Avengers movie or never seen anything, this movie doesn't work. You wouldn't get half of it. Like,
fair enough.
All the jokes are related to something in the past. So the whole thing with, hey, big guy, it's hilarious, and I'm dying.
Sun's going down.
But that thing that replays over and over, you wouldn't really get that if you haven't seen, Age of Ultron. You wouldn't necessarily get the Loki stuff, playing on the tropes, necessarily, and the callbacks, and also the Warriors 3 deaths. That's another big problem with I have fundamentally with the movie is, and this is the type of stuff that pisses me off in a movie because clearly there's a right and a wrong way to do things. Like I feel like, and there's things that I know my problem is when I watch a movie, my brain works faster than I can even like talk, because every shot in my head, real quick, I'm just thinking like, oh, this, and that. They could just change this, push this in a bit, pan this a little bit. If this would have been their line, they needed to have a scene, and I'm not saying they needed to be a big part of the movie, but there's that part where Thor goes to he gets back to Asgard.
Yeah,
and Loki is there, and they're watching the play, and
and all we meet new is Scourge. What's his
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban,
who's great, but we don't need to have a conversation. We don't even need to do that. But literally, they're there. They even say hello. Like, they go, good to see you. They give a hug. That just tells the audience, who haven't seen the other Thor movies, they know each other. They have a relationship. They're friends.
They seem to be like closer friends than the rest of the.
There's a slight bit of feeling.
I absolutely
and not
agree.
only is it for new people, but for people who've seen it before, like anything you always talk about, even if you're a fan of something, you always need to reestablish something.
Yeah.
I love Indiana Jones, but if a movie starts out and Indiana Jones dies in the first scene, that's going to affect me a lot less than if I just watched a whole other movie and Indiana Jones dies at the very end.
Well, it actually reminded
if Han Solo dies in the beginning of Force Awakens, the first scene, do you care as much as you care at the end? No.
Well,
you have to reestablish the character.
It reminded me of War of the Planet of the Apes. Spoilers for that. Where his son and his mate are reintroduced for like one scene, and then they get killed.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, there was such a great arc in the last movie of everything, and then they're just gone within the first 15-20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but the thing about that is also just that they feel like their deaths could have been like impacted more because when you're watching that scene of them dying, you're like, literally for me, even who's seen the movie, I was like, wait a second, he was already falling. The first guy already fell to his knees, Ray Stevenson, literally already collapsed on his knees before. I was like, oh wait, that's Ray Stevenson, the Warriors 3. He's dying now. If
Gimli,
if I, being me, not being a forgiving movie critic, right, or movie person,
you can say
if I was sitting there in a theater having never seen a Thor movie and I saw them lingering on shots of these, people in Shakespearean get-up or whatever, just slowly falling in slow-mo who I had never met before, I would be like looking around, kind of being like,
were those guys supposed to be important? Yeah,
but I would be like, it would affect me very strongly negatively. So it's like, I'm just saying that this movie, a lot of things I like about it are because I've seen the other MCU movies. I genuinely don't know if I would like this movie if I hadn't seen any of the MCU movies.
It's tough.
If this was the first one I'd seen, I honestly don't think I would like this film.
Interesting.
So that's like a big negative against it for me, is like, it's enjoyable because I've seen all the films, not once, not twice, but 3 or 4 times each.
Yeah. I mean, it's flashing around. I mean, we've skipped the introduction of Hela, but that's all right. And you see, oh hey, Zachary Levi. Oh, Zachary Levi just died.
Oh, he's Shazam now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to get out of there.
He made an upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. But
he had a line in this. Did he even have a line in this movie? No, I think he just picked up a sword.
That's it. That was his line.
Which because you do voice stuff. End of the day, it probably wasn't even him.
Oh, probably not.
They had someone else just do his.
We won't even mic him. It's fine. They were as inconsequential as the cannon fodder of the 100 or so nights of Asgard when Hela attacked everybody.
See, that's another thing. We just watched this movie,
and
I completely fucking forgot that she had an army of zombies and how she got them.
No, but the bad guy, when she killed all the guys at the beginning.
Yeah.
But that too. Yeah, the undead people.
Oh, yeah,
all the guards.
Yeah, she kills them by herself. Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But regardless, both ends, the good guys and the bad guys, end up being cannon fodder, which is the weakest part of the MCU, because they are the same as the Chitauri, same as the robots in Ultron.
But see, this is my problem again, going to the thing. Sorry we're jumping around, but
no, it's fine.
You can't just be like, wow, oh my god, it's so great, when you've done it 2 times before and both times were better. Like, even like they redid the ending of Age of Ultron in this movie, really,
basically.
but like not as good,
and in an alleyway, like on a bridge.
And so that's the type of stuff to me while I'm watching it. It's like I can't be walking out being like, another amazing movie, because yes, it is good, and everyone's talking about how fresh and how brave Marvel's make Taika Waititi movie, and yes, he brings his style to it, but in not one moment do I feel like this does not feel like an MCU movie or a Marvel movie.
Right, but I will say that while the action is lacking in uniqueness or anything like that, the character interaction is stronger, I think, and the logic in character is stronger.
But I was like laughing, throwing it, being like, but like I was waiting for something to happen.
Sure.
And like, because I honestly feel like this movie has no sense of thrust or story propulsion. Like we're just like, we're here. Now we're here, and we're just hanging out the whole time. And I get, there was never like, I never felt a need to go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And I just felt like we were kind of just waiting. I honestly felt like it took a long time to get to the Hulk Thor fight, and we were maybe
plotting.
The second act maybe felt like so long because we were on with Sakaar. Is that the name?
Sakaar. Yeah.
We were on Sakaar for such a long time. I felt like, and the little stuff that bothers me is like, out of all of the movies, action-wise, this is like maybe the lowest of maybe. I'm trying to think of the MCU films. I'm trying to think of ones that have worse action, because even
I didn't love Doctor Strange.
Oh, I didn't like Doctor Strange really at all. But see, that opening scene I still thought was cool when they first do it.
Yeah, where they're fighting on
and
the wall.
And I was invested. It was really short. Yeah. But I guess that, like Doctor Strange, I'm not a fan. I give that movie a thumbs down. But in general, like all the Avenger movies, all the fight scenes in general, I think are better. But you say it's unfair. But even Civil War, which has its own, I like Civil War, but all 4 or 5 of those major action set pieces, like when I'm watching a movie, it's nice knowing, like, even if I'm not into it, I do really like sitting down knowing I have that airport scene 40 minutes from now. It makes it easier to sit through. But now when I'm seeing, I can picture this because I've seen all those movies 5-6 times.
Sure.
I don't know. When I'm saying this the 4th time, what am I waiting for?
But again, like you say, what do you put value in? And is it the comedy? Because this is, I think, on par with Guardians in the laughs department.
In terms of Guardians 1, you're saying?
For me, Guardians 1, yeah.
Yeah. But Guardians 1 is a much better movie, I think. Still.
Oh yeah, no, still because it's using it the jumping back from place to place is more motivated. I absolutely agree.
Well, there's a nice flow. Our characters have growth. Like this movie. I didn't really. What character arcs really were there? I didn't really feel like there was any like.
They talk about reinventing the characters, but they also feel like they are stagnant.
Yeah, well, because they already started kind of feeling new.
Yes,
and then they end feeling the same kind of newness. And I guess Thor is now accepting of his title as king, but we never see the struggle of him inner. He kind of just like is very accepting of it from the get-go. He's never a moment where he questions it or thinks about it, or as Debbie's just like, that's what I have to do. He's just kind of chugging along through it all.
I think one of the weakest points in this movie, for me at least, so they have to so he realizes that Loki is Odin when he gets back. He says, "Let's go find Father," and they go find Father. We got a little cameo from which I actually liked.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Actually, before we get to the death scene.
That starts the goofiness. Like we already had the goofiness of him spinning on the thing, but I think there's a really interesting set of the tone there.
And I think they reshot that Doctor Strange scene as well.
Really,
compared to because at the end of talking about this, they've obviously, if you've seen, they've changed the location. If you've seen the trailer of where Odin was. Well, I guess it wasn't in the trailer, but in the photos, originally Odin was supposed to be in New York. He was like a homeless guy.
Person, yeah.
And you see Hela crush Mjolnir. How do you say it?
Mjolnir.
She crushes it in like an alleyway.
And she's an alleyway,
and now they're in Norway, a.k.a. Green Room.
Yes.
But Blue Wall Room. Oof. But so in the Doctor Strange scene, when you see, was it Doctor Strange, right? Was that the Doctor Strange that credit scene was in?
Yes.
Right? And the end credits of Doctor Strange, you see Thor come. He says, "I will help you find your father," right? Yeah. And then in this one, he says, "I'll tell you."
If I can tell you where your father is, will you?
Yeah, they changed like the idea because now they were. I guess before they were searching for him, looking through homeless places, trying to find him, and he was, I guess, amnesia, losing his mind a bit. So I guess Taika said it was they thought it was too dour, too depressing. They wanted the last scene with him to be an Odin scene. So they changed it all to Norway. So that's why the Hela scene is in Norway.
Right.
So now let's talk about that. So Odin's death and Hela comes because he dies. Basically, Hela's allowed to come, right?
So yes, because his spirit or something was the only thing preventing her from escaping that.
Makes sense.
Tied to his soul or whatever like that.
Yeah.
That was my least favorite scene in the entire movie.
It was awful.
It was like they were, not they, but it was like Anthony Hopkins had been pulled off of some other amazing project that he was doing, like Transformers.
He's like, I already shot this Thor scene 6 months ago. Exactly. Why are you calling me back? Why does Anthony Hopkins talk like I do?
I don't know. It sounds pretty good. He's Cockney, right? No.
Sorry, Anthony.
It's fine.
Mr. Hopkins.
That is what he says. He talks like this. But he was already so spacey, like from whatever thing that it didn't seem like he was in the same goddamn room as Thor or Loki, and nothing that he said had any weight to it. It wasn't like, and they weren't reacting to him like, wait, what are you doing? You're gonna die? And he was like, well, that's what I'm going to do. It's time that we're over, and this is it was like he had just gotten a concussion.
Yeah. And
he was just rattling off the lines. There was no weight to that scene, which is what almost the entire movie hinges on.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If that scene works, it doesn't. This is what makes me mad. And I don't call you out, but as someone who, and I bring this up, made an $11,000 feature film.
Sure.
And I have so much respect for filmmaking. You have no idea, like, I'm a tougher grader than everybody. I give a movie a C. I'll see it 6 times. Yeah. I love it. I break it. It doesn't mean I'm not obsessed with it.
People
don't appreciate
put an amazing amount of work into it
and think everyone's so talented.
Yeah.
But when I watch a scene like that, I sit in the theater and think, you fucking lazy motherfuckers, because I made an $11,000 movie, and I can honestly tell you without a doubt, maybe 95% of the scenes in my movies, because my movie's a walk and talk movie. People just sit and talk. They're better than that. Like, honestly, the conversations in my movie come off better. They feel like they're cut a little better. They look more realistic, because I have 2 characters that sit on the edge of a lake and talk. And guess what? It's a real lake.
And
there's real light. And it looks pretty good. And then I look at this movie and I'm thinking to myself, you guys spent $175 million. I don't care your excuse. I don't care where it is. When it should not look like hard edges on your hair.
Exactly.
It shouldn't look like fake water. It's like it
somebody just plopped that in
terrible.
and then didn't even render it.
No,
for
it looks
God's
like
sake.
they changed it the day of.
Yeah,
like it honestly is god awful. There is no reason that a kid sitting in the movie theater who works, I don't know.
No, I
should just have who could literally say on a weekday on a Sunday with no crew. I pulled up a way worse camera. Just got two friends. We never did rehearsal. We ran the lines a couple times. Fucking did a scene, and yet somehow it visually looks better than that scene.
Yeah,
that is a problem.
I shot a music video in the backyard.
Yeah.
And we put up a green screen, looked about the same level. Oof.
Yeah, and that it really annoys me.
Yeah.
It really, and some people don't mind. Like I hear some people, oh, it's a small thing, CGI. It bothers me, and I'm also someone who like works on set a lot, and we do a lot of green screen at my job. We do a lot of promos and TV and stuff, and I can tell like where things if they're outside or inside or how they're lit and done stuff, and sometimes I can get taken out of things more that way, but I can also appreciate things more that way. But
yeah, there are
things
limitations,
like
but not there.
No,
it's such a supposed to be iconic scene.
Fly to fucking Norway for a weekend, huh?
Fly to.
Or just use a lake. I'm sure there's a lake in Atlanta, and then
Atlanta.
put up side walls of green screen, or
across
the lake at a fucking green screen.
You have a lot of money to work with, for God's sake. Had they just tapped out by that point, it
makes me upset.
Even
Really
the rocks in Norway.
Oh my God, no!
Looked
Thank you.
Fake.
They did.
Ugh.
It's just
Do
like
a little bit more painting, patina it a little bit, for God's sake.
And I guess going into that in general, before we get into the Hela 100%, in general, my problem with the movie is colorful, yes.
Yeah.
I like what it's going for. I felt the movie they shot on their too wide of lenses the whole thing.
Really?
It just like there was no depth of frame. Like everything was kind of in focus. Like everything behind was very clean and everything was very wide. So you want to go back if you want to hear what I'm talking about, understand in depth. If you've seen Rogue One, that movie also shot digitally on like very similar cameras, if not the same camera.
Sure.
But they used
all the same thing now.
They used the 70 like millimeter lenses from Panavision in like the 50s, 60s that they shot epic westerns and stuff on.
Yeah.
But they put those on the digital camera. But what that has is an extra sharp depth of field. But if you watch Rogue One, you can see what gives it such an epic scope is on the close-ups and stuff. I mean, it's really out of focus in the background. You really get the feel. And this, no matter where they are, when they're in the Grand Master and Sakaar, I can clearly see everything behind them. It's kind of what I would call flat. You know what I'm saying? It all looks like the same, like 15% faded out, and you can kind of still read the background, but there's never that moment where like the camera just pushes in and gets that deep focus and the light kind of blurs out. Like, I don't know, I never felt like there was a lot of cinematic shots.
A little cartoony almost.
Yeah. There was like example. The one shot I really like is when they're in the arena and it spins around Thor and he clicks his helmet down.
Oh,
like that shot was great, but I feel like we never got that level of depth in the city or in anything.
And in that thing, it's a utilitarian shot rather than an art shot. Yeah, the composition was fine.
Was basic in this movie.
Was basic.
It was very basic. I was a little disappointed because I feel like, and I don't know. I just made this a little indie movie, but I know Taika's made great movies,
beautiful movies.
But I always get the sense of, and maybe it's just Marvel, but when these directors, same thing with John Watts, when they come over to these movies, their composition on a lot of them seem kind of basic. And there's a certain point where I'm like, oh man,
is this B-Team?
Weren't you dreaming your whole life of like making these smaller movies to be able to get the toys,
super cool,
to do shit you couldn't do? But then when you shoot a scene the same way you would have shot the scene with $500,000, that's good maybe half the time. Maybe this is just me, but the other half the time I think I'd be dreaming about all the toys you didn't get last time and all the cool angles you'd be able to grab that you couldn't get without that crew or without that thing. And so I'm always disappointed when I feel like it's playing safe. Like it's like anyone could go in a room and be like, if you have a great team, be like, I'm gonna get a 2-shot over the shoulder. So if you get that, it's like, yes, it's nice framed and nice that, but you're not bringing any creative flair.
And they shot this for 85 days, for God's sake. That's I know that's pretty standard for a Marvel movie now, but with
2 units, maybe 3 units going at once.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
But they do that, I think, a lot. For the comedy, for getting a lot of setups, they're getting comedy, a lot of lines.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because they get 7 different lines for a scene, so that's why.
So true.
So that's the trade-off.
But but I think it's also visual language that they have to keep within in Marvel.
Well, think about it is true, but I wish, like, you look at Edgar Wright. Now that's a guy who does visual comedy.
Yeah,
and it's like I wish Taika would have been able to go full Taika and maybe 10-15% more visual comedy, I guess is the way to do it. Using cuts and using stuff like that, which he is very good at with the Thor thing and the beer, just using in-camera tricks.
Yep.
There's no CGI there, it's just a cutaway and he cuts back and now there's a beer in his hand, but it plays well if you have good editing and good timing.
Very much so.
But going back, I'm so sorry with Niners. Please talk about Hela. And Hela, originally from the comics, is actually Loki's daughter, right?
Yeah,
but Hela comes to Norway.
Right, she is released for some reason there. And did he hide her there, or was it just in a different dimension? She knows
where they are. She's instantly like, she's set free right when he dies. So boom, and she knows where to go. And instantly, Thor and Loki know who she is.
Right.
Thor throws a hammer, she destroys the hammer, boom, just like that, and they're kind of banished, and that's where we kind of go.
Well, and then they try to get drawn back by the Bifrost, and she fights him in the Bifrost, punching. I think I've seen the thing where if you get thrown out of a teleportation thing, first, you're going to arrive there way earlier than the other person. I don't know where I've seen that trope before, but, Loki gets thrown out first. He arrives on Sakaar apparently a couple weeks before Thor does. And
because they weren't going to... Thor wasn't trying to go to Sakaar.
Right. He was trying to go back to Asgard, and that's how she gets transported back there. And, so
then basically until the end of the movie, we're intercutting between Hela on Asgard... taking over and
Heimdall sort of trying to mitigate.
The main thing though is Hela on Asgard, then Thor is over on Sakaar.
Correct. We're following those.
And then we also then eventually do see Heimdall's kind of with his terrible ugly wig, of course, again running around. No, I'm gonna talk about this. What's up with these awful wigs? I mean, I know I keep saying, but like Loki's wig looks worse in every movie. It really does.
In certain shots, it absolutely does.
It looks a little pinned back, and so does Heimdall. Yeah. It's like I get you don't want to put hair, but it's like it looks super fake.
I definitely had a roommate in college who got dreads.
Yeah,
and he was white, and he got him. They were.
That's already a bad decision.
Yeah. He got him stitched into his hair, and it was for what was it, Burning Man? And
never mind.
So all right. I totally get it. It was
as someone who's done drugs at raves, I approve.
It was super cool, but that's exactly what they did. Just overly, and you can't expect an actor to grow his hair out that far.
No, that's not really possible.
But you're right. It just looks like I don't know what it looks like.
It looks a little. The whole thing looks like in all these Marvel films, they're looking bigger and big budget TV kind of. It almost looks like the world's most expensive TV show, which it is, though, right?
I have definitely not checked out Inhumans because I've heard
they already
real bad stuff. Yeah.
It's done.
Of course.
That was like a disaster waiting to
happen.
But
that's the difficulty.
That was a bad wig.
That's the scary part is, are they going to cutting back on certain things because they think that they can get away with it?
No, I think that's just what
was it just a bad choice?
It's just kind of what they do. They've had this consistent problem with it, but they've been rolling with it. They're going with this, I guess real world kind of look. It just also, I guess for me, it's just one of those things, and it's hard to compare because fantasy. But as someone who works and stuff, like we use the same cameras, so like when I watch a Marvel film, I fully get the sense. Less so Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron looks pretty good, and so do the like Iron Man, the first one, but. I really understand, like, I've worked these cameras. I've worked with great DPs who've shot, like, we work with the DP who shot some Entourage and other stuff. Like, if we placed the camera there and I was on set, and I walked over and looked at the frame, I wouldn't be surprised if it looked like a Marvel movie. Like, I'd be like, I understand that you just put a camera there and you had the right sets and it looks like that. But when I somehow watch a movie like The Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
Or Pirates of the Caribbean, or The Matrix, or, there's a sense of, like, how the fuck did they make it look so pretty? Or even Harry Potter, I literally am confused because I'm like, I don't get putting a camera there doesn't make it look that good.
Yeah, what else is
so? What else could you do to make it look like I'm in this
lighting or coloring?
I feel like I'm in another universe. And I get that they don't want me transformed into another universe. This is the real world, which I guess is maybe my thing. Is I wish it felt like the real world, but still a little bit more cinematic in that way.
Yeah, and obviously they had to. they locked themselves into a visual style long ago.
But I think that they can break it a little bit more than they choose to. I think they're playing it a little safe. But I'm excited to see what the new Avengers movies look like.
Me too.
Because on a side thing here, going about that, Age of Ultron and is done by Joss Whedon, and that cinematography is maybe my favorite in terms of like two different my favorite in terms of like the depth and the color and more of like the filmic look, even though it's not like film, right? And then what I like about the Russo brothers, who are now directing that, is even though their cat movies I thought were really gray in that, their shot selection is by far the best in the MCU, I think. Yeah. So I'm hoping we take their shot selection and get that visual flair of the Avengers, tie it together, and it'll be perfect.
I wouldn't mind that at all. Yeah.
So I have full hopes for that.
That'd be a damn cool development. What I want to get back to is Sakaar, because you were saying that we spend quite a bit of time on Sakaar.
Probably an hour, right? I mean,
probably, yeah.
At least an act, 45 minutes.
And first we meet Scrapper 142, which I was a big fan of hers, and I was a big fan of her introduction to show that she's a drunk, and show that she has a badass ship that she can control the guns with her gauntlets. That's awesome. She captures Thor after he's being attacked by other natives, and she takes him to the Grand Master.
Yes. And she's played by Tessa Thompson. Yes, from Creed.
That's right.
But when Thor gets there, he gets in that chair thing.
He gets into the chair.
That scene was fantastic. I was dying.
Where he goes through and they're giving him a little tour of what Sakaar is, and then they start fucking playing Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka. Oh, yes.
And they're building up, and know it's building to Jeff Goldblum, which is the best for me. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, give it to me. For those who don't know, Jeff Goldblum's my favorite person. I said in the beginning, but like ultimately my favorite person. So I was so excited when he was in the chair, because it was like, this is the moment.
And then he starts screaming, and then the entire visual just shuts off, and he's in a room. Again, those are some of those visual comedic moments.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about. I meant more visual with like the terms of like. That is visual comedy, but I mean like the Edgar Wright way is if you've seen The World's End. Okay. They're like saying that he doesn't like to drink, and they're like, "What do you mean you don't want to drink?" He's like, "No, I don't drink alcohol." And Simon Pegg turns around and goes, "What?" And then the next cut is a beer getting filled up, drink. A beer getting filled up. A beer getting filled up. A beer getting filled up. Water. And
there actually was a moment in this movie when they get into the Bifrost to go to New York for the first time, where it was that smash cut from action to action to action that really reminded me of the all of Edgar Wright movies. Yeah. The Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah, Taika's kind of like a New Zealand Edgar Wright.
I would
in a
say
way.
so. Yeah. No, I think those mates would get along.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
But so we meet Jeff Goldblum. What did you think? I mean, everybody sort of got to do this sort of mumblecore improvisational or just more naturalistic dialogue between each other. Yeah. But he's a master of that. Like he does that regardless of his character or his movie. Like, what did you think about his performance as the Grand Master?
Well, you got to rank it on the Goldblum scale, right?
Of course.
I would give it. All right, so I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10 Goldblums.
Nice.
Take everything
What's
back.
That?
It's 10 out of 10 Goldblums because I just had to remember the end of the movie. It's a tie.
It's a tie.
So just win. For that line enough, actually, 10 out of 10, because that was the best delivery ever. But no, Goldblum like makes a movie. No one else can play this role. I feel like it's like one of those things like I cannot imagine.
You have to be bombastic. You have to be like very eccentric. Yeah. To be this type of guy, and you get that shorthand with Goldblum. Absolutely.
He's just so cool, and his outfit, he rocks it. I mean, he's able to play, and he plays into his persona well, and. I don't know. I loved every single minute of it.
So we get Thor gets prepared for his fight. He meets Korg.
Korg.
Hey mate, I'm Korg. I love this the staccato way of that accent. And this is me. He's a bug with knives for arms.
The best is the rock paper scissors
rock
joke.
Paper scissors. That's just a rock paper scissors joke. It's so good, so spot on every single time he's talking it, and it's like the rhythm is probably what gets me in general. Yeah, and you don't expect that kind of tiny little voice out of a big rock monster.
No,
love that. He and Meek are actually in Planet Hulk. Yeah, it's I love those little side guys. Then we find out Scrapper 142 is actually Valkyrie, which I thought was a. What did you think about that development?
Well, here's something, and I go along with the movie. They must have just told Thor a lie, which is not explained, because how does Thor know who the Valkyrie are?
Yeah.
If they all famously died fighting Hela.
Maybe
so they would have had to make a whole false lie about who they fought or something. So they never touch into that, but the way it's explained to the audience is confusing.
You're right, but I feel like there was just like folk stories of those people, and they fought like a darkness or something. Who knows?
I completely agree with you, and this didn't bother me while I was watching. It's one of those things while I'm watching, I went,
yeah.
Okay. And I just kept watching it, but it's something I'm like, I'll think about that later and try to figure it out. And I couldn't really connect it. And I get it's an off-screen thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like on this type of movie, it would be nice to have some sort of like what Thor knew was false. Like maybe Thor's saying something to her. Like he thinks they all died fighting something else. And he doesn't know she's faced Hela before, and Hela's the reason they all died. So that's like a final last big struggle of why she can't go. I can't go because I lost to Hela. God, I lost Asgard. I did this.
Like at a sacrifice of jokes, that would have made
just a couple moments,
heightened it a little bit. I really enjoyed her development, but to give her another motivation, to put a little bit of stuff that's hidden, because something else that I was confused of, were the Valkyrie just that was them and that was it? There was never going to be any new Valkyrie. Like there was no reason why he should know about Valkyrie, because it was like he didn't have anybody, because there's that throwaway line of, I always wanted to be a Valkyrie, then I found out it was only females.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're like, wait, but...
how is that possible?
There's no Valkyrie to look up to.
Yeah, so it would be stories.
Yeah, of stories, and he's like, those are the people. I want to ride a Pegasus. Wait, they're all female, and they don't exist anymore, so it's not an option either way?
But there's a locker with just a little bag of clothes that they still have, little armor that looks...
Yeah, they sort of cleaned them up off of the dead ones. Ugh. Or they had backups, Anyway, the Hulk fight.
Thankfully, finally.
Good Lord.
Real quick, I want to jump to this. Did you know that line, the line from the trailer, we're friends from work.
We're friends from work.
Did you hear where that line came from?
No.
It's actually a great story.
Okay.
So they had a kid on set for Make-A-Wish, whose Make-A-Wish was to be on set that day.
Yeah.
And they were just shooting the scene, shooting stuff, and they were talking to the kid, and the kid, like 8 years old or whatever, said, wouldn't it be funny if he said you're a friend from work because the Avengers? And they were all like, oh shit, and they tried it, and it worked, and that's the line in the movie. So that line is written by like an 8-year-old Make-A-Wish kid.
Go, kid.
That was, I thought, was like an awesome story.
That's a great line.
Yeah.
It
is a great line. So it's like...
It's funny because it's full. This movie is full of lines like that where you're like, you wouldn't normally say that exactly, but it just like they commit so much to the humor of it that when he says you could have sent me an electronic mail. Do you have a computer? No. Why? It's so funny that it trumps the logic of it.
Thor is the funniest person ever. I'll give you that.
I'm so glad they gave him more jokes.
And I guess this is my catch-22, because I need the movie to be a little bit more serious and have a little bit more stakes. And not even not serious; they can be just as funny. But I wish I cared a bit more. And before I dive in this point, I guess I will say this: you'd say, "Oh, it's a comedy; you should judge it like that." But even if I judge it as a comedy, when I watched Knocked Up or Superbad, there's moments where I'm more emotionally scared or invested for characters or nervous for them than I am in this movie.
Okay.
I don't want them to get found by the cops. They're losing that. They're going to fuck up with the girl. They're going to do that. Those things hit me more. They're ruining their friendship. Like when they're yelling at each other in the street, that's more emotionally satisfying than anything in this movie still.
Also, I mean... hold
on real quick. But sorry, I want to end on a negative because I was going to the positive side. That's my one negative thing about that. But the positive of that is you also don't end up with maybe Doctor Strange, which bothers me because it's like none of the moments annoyed me like the Kate moment did, where I'm like, no, just be fucking serious for a moment.
Yeah.
The moments were set up in a way that I didn't necessarily get annoyed that it was being jokey. I just felt like they should have found more ways to be serious.
To balance it?
A little
bit,
instead of actually being like, no, that moment should be like this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I absolutely get it. The other thing that is difficult to put stakes in this is to understand anybody's power level. because we can talk about it in the form of Hulk and versus Thor, but also when Hela fights any of the other. So none of the other people on Asgard are considered gods, right?
I guess
they're
not.
just essentially Asgard's version of human. Even the Warriors 3 are just soldiers that have no
soldiers.
I mean, they Hongun or Hogan. What's his name? One of the Tadanobu Asano plays Hogan,
and
I guess, or
those,
Hongun.
Like spinny.
He has the mace, the crazy mace. He stands up to her a little bit more than Thor and Loki do at the beginning, and then he just gets stabbed by a big spear, and he has no ability to heal or anything like.
Yeah, I just don't know how she can do things too with her spears. That's the other thing too. And at the end, she did all that spear stuff to other people. I feel like she was pretty light on the spears when she was. I feel like at the end of the movie, she wanted to. It made it seem like as they're walking with fireworks, whatever, blowing up behind them, she could have. Like she couldn't just make spears come up under the ground. Like I don't know why
from anywhere.
Like it made me seem like there was no rhyme or reason.
What are their
why
limitations?
Or how. Yeah.
What are their limitations?
Are they supposed to be coming from her helmet or from her? Were they all coming from her?
She had a weird. No, I'm
not sure.
A weird relationship to literal logic.
But again,
physics.
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. It made for some interesting shots, kind of cool shots, but that's
your
that's
power
not
level thing. Yeah.
So power level. With Thor and this is a story of Thor getting his groove back.
Yeah,
essentially
because becoming the god of thunder.
He's still strong, and he can, but he doesn't have Mjolnir to focus his power, which is why he can't knock out the Hulk like he did in Avengers with a hammer. He just sort of smacks Hulk.
Yeah,
and they fight. What did you think about the fight? I enjoyed a lot of the in that. I actually never really was nervous for either of their fates because there's an hour and a half left in the movie. But I was like, I held my breath a little bit when one of them would come down in slow motion on the other. I don't know. It was kind of cool.
It was fun.
Okay.
But it's the same type of thing again. Like I really enjoyed it because I've seen all the movies.
Yeah.
And again, I'm picturing if I had never seen a Marvel movie, I would just be like, this is just noise happening on screen. That's how I feel. But it's because I enjoy the characters I feel. But I did feel like if an individual action set piece, I feel like the Hulkbuster fight is a better action set piece. That is actually has stakes, but is also funny.
Yeah.
And also jokey. But it's a different type of movie.
And this one is sort of neutered because it is in just a fighting ring. There's no other ability to take it into a they didn't even jump in, like they could have knocked into the humans that were watching, the audience, but they didn't take advantage of that.
That's true. I mean, at a certain point when they're fighting, they're not going to get into they're not going to kill each other or nothing. They were just fighting in a big plain arena. I feel what you're saying. There wasn't any goal. That's the other thing about the action in general I always talk about. I like when action has goals or situations. Watch Indiana Jones, the action's based off of literally he's just slipping, he's got to get up here, and then when he gets there he falls over here, and it's getting out of situations
rather than just being, because all of these sort of seem like hold your ground fights.
Exactly. There's no and especially in the chase scene, this is my other problem, the chase. So that chase reminds me kind of plenty of chases, but I think of the Star Trek in the Darkness Klingon chase when they're on Kronos. That's a dope chase. That's actually probably the best part of that movie, made my favorite part of that. But I watched this chase and it's like there's a chase for a chase, but it's like I have no weight or stakes. I don't know why we're really getting chased. They're just getting chased off to get off. But there's no real.
He makes the pronouncement that everybody needs to attack them.
But there's no goal. We really have to get here before this. And that happens. And the devil's anus thing, I don't get it. They go into it. There's no struggle of getting to it, really. It's just there. Then when they get into it, it's easy to get into it. And then it just arrives where they want to be. There's no discussion. There's no thought.
And also, Heimdall apparently
helped them.
Directed. I don't know if he helped them.
I thought Heimdall could only view shit with the sword. I thought that was the whole point.
Well, he has the sword. It's on his back.
But when it's into the thing.
Oh, when he's in
No,
Bifrost.
that's only to bring the Bifrost.
Yeah.
So he can view it whenever?
I guess so.
Okay.
I mean,
it's fine. That's what I thought for the movie. But for the first
two,
I thought that was
there is a rumor that he is the sixth Infinity Stone. It's in his eyes.
Wait, what's the next stone left?
I have no idea. I don't remember. I haven't done the research completely. I don't keep all
You do not deserve these 3,500 action figures.
I clearly do not. Well, they don't make toys of all of the gems.
If they had toy gems, I would have them all.
I only have the one, and it's the one from the second wave of the MCU.
Yeah, the box
DVDs. Yeah, the box. It's the one from the Guardians of the Galaxy one.
But
that's the rumor, is that's why he's so omniscient.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, and
I buy it.
But I don't know if he can affect the thing. But he told him, he was like, go to the big one.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's the one
that whole subplot
that
also felt total like the
that he was hiding
thing was totally felt like Star Trek Beyondy, which is also him. Because they're just hiding in the caves. I know that, but they're the villains, have them captured. Well, but it just felt pretty similar with they're trying to get to them and free them.
And there's an issue that I have with that, is that so Hela is presiding over this place with her big ass wolf, and
that we see do nothing.
Nothing.
It doesn't do anything.
A big ass wolf and an undead army, that they are just searching for these people for no clear reason to kill them all? I know this is a PG-13 movie, but there is absolutely no stakes of why he's hiding literally all of Asgard's people in a hidden place, in a fortress
that we know nothing about.
But I would have loved to see Scourge is she deputizes him.
It's another
as
big
her,
issue I have in the movie is Scourge, actually.
She deputizes him as her executioner,
who does nothing. Also,
we never see him execute. We almost see him do one thing.
That is the big issue.
There could absolutely, they've addressed it in many other PG-13 movies where it is implied that something is going down that you need to stop her from. It just looks like she's sort of an authoritarian-ish ruler. Mm-hmm. She's not necessarily as nice as Oden, and she killed the guards, but the guards are warriors.
Yeah.
Kill some regular people.
Yeah, we
just
didn't see her
fun
kill the regular people
at all. I would have liked to see that raise the stakes for me again.
See, I'm going to go back to Hela, but bringing up the wolf and bringing up the Scourge thing. This is my biggest problem with Scourge. Yeah. What's the fucking point of it? I don't understand this thing is movies. I don't understand the point of characters.
A secondary bad guy.
Like, no, what is the point, though, if he doesn't do anything? Like, you have Scourge, you power call Urban, what does he want to do? But what redemption? He didn't do anything
kill
wrong.
Anybody. No.
He never killed anybody. You're the executioner, and yet from the fucking first frame, you can tell he's not 100% on our side. No. Not from the get-go. He's always like, I'm just forced to do this.
Yeah, if
his redemption doesn't mean anything.
If he had been like, this is cool, and then the more people he kills...
That's what an arc is called.
Yes.
Him being in the same fucking place the whole time is not an arc. That's just making a decision at the end.
Yeah.
And then, also, if he's executioner... Do something bad so that his arc means something, okay? Right. Him dying a nice death doesn't mean fucking anything. And
absolutely.
Honestly, it annoys me because that's pure storytelling logic 101. You have set up and pay off, and you're doing something and you're not setting up and you're not paying off. That's a flaw. Yeah. That's how I look at it. It's simple as that.
Agreed.
And same thing with the wolf. There's no reason to say, that's a big wolf for what? What is the stake of the wolf? What's the wolf's power? Is it as strong as the Hulk or not? Because when Hulk was fighting, we don't know the capabilities of it. I mean, obviously the Hulk would fight it, but it didn't eat anybody. We didn't see how fast it can run. Did it run through a building?
Right.
Did it do anything?
That's what I'm talking about.
And again, set up and pay off. What's the point of having that?
Power limitations need to be explored, and I think they've done it in other movies where it's been fascinating.
Yep. There's this thing in movies, I forget what it's called, and you don't always have to follow the rules of filmmaking, the rules of screenwriting, but there's a screenwriting rule they talk about, right? That if you show something, you have to use it. So, like, if you want to
it's the
shotgun rule.
It's the Chekhov gun rule.
Yeah, the gun rule.
So if you show a gun in the first act, it has to go off by the end of the play.
And it doesn't mean there's a gun in the background. It means if there's a close-up or an insert or there's someone who walks by
if somebody says, my father gave me this gun, he killed himself with it, or something like that.
Anything.
By the end of it,
of course,
somebody's going to kill themselves with the gun, or something
set up
like
and payoff.
that. Yes.
Just nothing with that. So it's like you have the wolf, and it's like, well, what does the wolf do? It's like you're waiting for something, and I don't know.
No, it was just set dressing.
It's just it has the ending part, but they forgot the setup. It's like there's one or the other. So both those things really hinder me because, and again, And I'd say when we're comparing these movies, we're not comparing Thor Ragnarok to every little indie movie, but I am judging this on like what would a 5 out of 5 for me be on Thor Ragnarok. Well, a 5 out of 5 Thor Ragnarok movie would make me think long and hard as if I like it as much as Empire Strikes Back.
Absolutely.
Do I like it as much as a Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Do I like this as much as I like, The Dark Knight? That's what a 5 out of 5 is to me. So when you say, "Oh, you're being too nitpicky," it's like, I accept this is challenging. I'm not saying I could do any better. I couldn't. It's amazing. I would work for anybody on here.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna watch special features. I will see the movie multiple times. I'm gonna go see it again in theaters.
Yeah.
And it's fine. I don't give out A's much, but if an A movie does all those things, So and by not doing those things, it just makes me kind of like,
it's like you could not see the forest for the trees. You looked at it too much on the macro scale, and you could have found these little turns for different people, like especially the Valkyrie and Scourge.
Yeah.
I think there was definitely, because those are the secondary characters that we are being introduced to.
Yeah.
Let's give them something just in the background. Just show a little bit more, because we never see Scourge go after, even hunt any of the people. Like, that's all the undead folk.
Yeah.
That are hunting the people, and then there's no payoff of what those things are.
I don't even understand the undead thing. It's like a total. Why does she need them?
Yeah, and I would have rather them actually come back as significant people in the past, rather than just be undead, because she was like, it's so wonderful to see. Give even a line to any of these mass of bad guys, and you've hooked me. It's better than
I did like the they didn't really go into it. I did like the Hela background. I do like the idea that like the mural falling down thing is a cool idea, and I like the idea that she's this darkness who's taken over everything, and she's the rightful heir to that. I think that's a good setup for a villain.
And it doesn't feel like it's retconning the series.
No, it didn't feel retcon.
It feels like it is a part of like a betrayal.
Yeah, and we knew Odin had a darker past.
Right.
That was already established. He did some crazy things in the war and this.
Sure.
I mean, we didn't know this dark, but it makes sense. I wonder how old Thor and stuff is. It's not a negative or a positive. I'm just always wondering, because Loki makes a comment in the first movie like, "Give or take 1,000 years."
Yes, yeah.
So it's like they live a couple thousand years or a few thousand years.
Sure.
So I'm just wondering how all these timelines work out, but whatever.
I have no idea. I mean, can't
think about that in depthly.
You can't really. It's who knows if in the 9 realms time works differently or some weird.
Well, I think it's established that
no
time
idea.
maybe doesn't work differently. This isn't Interstellar. We're not going by by space rules over here.
That's very true.
But
let's not complicate it more.
I want to talk about one more, I guess, slight negative or question, and then I'd talk about some positives.
Okay.
Actually, fighting. But the end of the movie, where Korg's line is hilarious too, where he's talking about the foundations are strong. we can rebuild. Yeah.
Oh no, that's gone.
Yeah. So that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I do think I'm so confused. Like, wait, is Asgard the size of a fourth of a helicarrier?
Yeah,
because it
kind of looks like just a floating island.
Dude, it's like literally the amount of people on that ship on Asgard are the amount of people that are in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes living with no power.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, literally, it's like there's not even a civilization.
Yeah,
that like you have less people than apes.
Funny enough, it's Sokovia.
It's like smaller than Sokovia.
No, but I'm saying they bring the helicarrier in.
Oh, it's the same. That's what I'm saying. It's the Age of Ultron plot again, but not quite as good.
You're right. No, I was very confused about that. I thought it was a full planet, except we've seen the underside of it before. I don't know. I don't know what it is. We'll never really know.
Because there needs to be rules here. I mean, there needs to be rules in geography. I always question this too. There's
because it just
I don't know what's
somewhere else.
No one's answered this question, and you can't find it on Google. At what size does something become a continent? Not a thing. You can't. I've searched it. I've asked everybody. Because guess what? Australia is an island.
It's very small comparatively,
but it's a continent.
Sure.
But Hawaii or Tahiti or whatever are islands. So at what size something need to be become a continent? I've looked at that. I've researched it. It's not a thing.
Interesting.
However, there obviously is some sort of parameter because Australia is a continent and not an island.
Yes.
So the same thing here. I don't believe that that's a realm. I think it's like Pluto. I think they needed to reevaluate and say, Asgard, I know you're the leader of it, but you're actually a moon. The equivalent of a moon to a realm. You're not a real realm because it's not. I'm sorry. You rule. How do you rule 9 realms with 1,000 guards?
Right?
What do you do? I don't. I'm really confused.
Yeah, where are also that confused me too. Like, I don't know how many people there actually were that Heimdall saved, but how long does it take all of them, children, old people, young people, to crawl down those things?
I'm glad we didn't see that, because it saved us. Have you seen Star Trek Insurrection? It's probably the boringest movie ever made.
Yeah,
it's literally a movie about people walking to the mountains to get inside it, and it's pretty awful.
Well, good.
But no, I understand. But it's like, that's it. I thought there was maybe... They would have made... And they never even made the comment of, like... I get people going like, well, that's all that survived. They never really made that clear.
Yeah.
Say that, like, have them walk over, like... Again, it's PG-13, but there's a way to show dead bodies.
There's been dead bodies in these past movies.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings movies are all PG-13. So, but like, seriously, show that the house is destroyed. Maybe they're walking through a village that looks like it's half blown up. And that, like, just one shot of that. Just literally all you need is a shot of Heimdall leading through the forest and now a destroyed village. And we get the idea of, like, someone's lost people. Like, we're all left that's left of Asgard.
Yeah.
But
show I don't know, screaming rather than like... who said it? Bruce Banner. We haven't even talked about Mark Ruffalo, who I actually loved for the few lines that he had in here. He had some great. I'm undecided. I'm undecided. You want revenge, right? When he says, "Well, I just thought it'd be nicer," I didn't see anything different. It didn't look ravaged or on fire. None of it looked broken, really. I don't know. Did you see that in the?
It didn't look too.
When they were coming back, they were. It was just like, well,
look empty. It looked like they evacuated.
Empty, but not to the effect of like one of the. She had knocked off one of the towers in anger or something like that.
That's another thing about Asgard. Look at these movies and the set design stuff, and like it's never. I agree with Taika. He's like, I never really liked the look of Asgard. It's okay. Yeah. But I mean, it looks like a cheap Lord of the Rings, like those and the Hobbit movies. And I'm not a big fan, but the opening of the Hobbit, even too, or the first Hobbit, and also Lord of the Rings films, they have those towns, like when Smaug attacks, and there's like the little you don't see it at first, you see the shadows, or in the Return of the King, what's it called, Mithrandel? No, not Mithrandel. That's not what it's called. What's the White City?
I don't know.
Is it Gondor?
Maybe.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
Awful. Anyways,
hate mail incoming.
I think it's Gondor.
Yeah.
Anyways, the fight of the Gondor during the day, you know, and they're and you know, what's his name? Fuck, why? Not I was gonna say Dumbledore. Jesus Christ, fucking
Gandalf the Grey.
Gandalf the White is on the horse and he's going up the thing. You know, like that city feels more real to me than anything in any of the Thor films.
Okay, yeah,
you know, and I get that. Oh, you can't compare that to that, but I mean, you're spending the same amount of money. You're making a blockbuster movie. There's no reason it shouldn't look that cool.
It's shinier.
It's glossy.
Very much glossy. Where
it's not a set.
What?
It's just wall that they paint one color.
I don't understand. I don't understand how fake things work. These are documentaries, right? Yes. So we, like I said, Mark
Ruffalo's the best ever.
He's fantastic. He's got, he was actually mocapping for the Hulk the entire time.
Cool.
I liked the Hulk. I wasn't sure how I felt about it at the beginning, but it did work for me. The
talking and stuff.
The talking, it kind of made sense.
I liked it. It was fine.
It was cavemanish enough that it made sense. So yeah, it was good. And then he has that great turn of deciding to sacrifice his sanity as the Hulk into saving them a little bit. I mean, he fights the dog off, and that really was just to give him a bad guy.
He had nothing to do.
No.
This was the kind of the two things about. Well, I want to say a positive and a negative here.
Okay, please.
The funniest moment ever is when he lands, and he's
just
that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my god!
Honestly, that was I couldn't believe it.
His eyes rolling. He's
that was
is
great.
he dead?
But another negative about this is like, it goes to show what I'm talking about. They're just they put Hulk in this to put Hulk in it.
Yeah.
You know
what they're talking about?
Like, what?
They're saying that the next 3 movies are essentially cheating the Hulk.
Okay,
movie.
That's great, but that doesn't change the fact. So why the fuck is he in this? Like, why do you need him?
Yeah.
Hulk, I need you to save. No, you don't. What did you do? I've seen you fly through fucking giant worms.
Come with me.
Just fucking
right.
Turn. I don't know. You could.
But
kill
they do put the thing that he doesn't want to turn back into the Hulk.
I get that.
So
when he turns back into the Hulk, it should be for a good cause.
And Yeah, it's kind
It's
of
like for a cause that this is my thing. If the Hulk never came down,
yeah.
do I believe in my heart? I mean, obviously it's a movie.
Yeah.
Could our heroes have found a way?
Right.
Yes. And you want to watch a movie and literally get to the point, no matter what, and be like, I'm actually at a point, how are they going to get out of this?
Yeah.
And then there's that thing you forget, oh, but James Bond has the fucking pen.
Right.
Oh, we have the Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, the Hulk's going to come at the last minute and turn around and stop.
Because this is kind of telegraphed that
how
he's going to have to.
Oh my God, there's 11.
Hulk
She's
again.
back. It's like,
right.
Where's that moment? What the fuck is Hulk here for? What can our heroes can solve the problem without the Hulk?
Yeah.
Our heroes couldn't solve the problem without 11. Our heroes couldn't solve the problem without so-and-so. So
right.
that's my issue
Get to a low point and then...
Ooh, I want to take this opportunity to sound really
please.
cool to anyone who's still listening.
Yes, sir.
So keep in mind why you should listen to us, because me and AJ are cool.
Heck yeah.
I knew...
Ooh.
We knew 9 months early that Hulk was going to be in Thor.
Oh.
Because we have cool friends.
Yeah, we do.
And I remember being like, oh my goodness. And it's actually funny because people always like to act like they find news. Like it just got... People think they signed contracts a day ago. And my friend always tells me things. And listen, stuff does not usually come out until months after. As much as you think we're getting scoops, like it always happens a long time before it finally breaks the fence.
We have unnameable sources.
But we're cool.
But we're hecka cool.
Yeah.
Don't check our emails. So one thing that I was very interested in, I was very surprised when they Hela cut Thor's eye out.
Oh yeah, I was surprised.
I was
too.
like, oh, those are stakes. That's fucking stakes right there. Like that is that's a change. That's you can't go back from that change.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go back from literally any change in comics.
I was glad.
But I was like, wow, that's an effect that the next movie will have to take into account.
Which you've seen, obviously, in the trailers, which means they had to CGI the eye.
I know, that was really
interesting. Shot of
interesting.
him with thunder and that. And then also, like, if you're a bad person like me, who sometimes do things you're not supposed to do, and maybe look up Comic-Con footage of Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, even though it hasn't been officially released.
I don't think
And I saw a bootleg video of it on this thing called the internet, and Thor's definitely in it, and Thor definitely had 2 eyes, but I think we all know that is fake.
Tricked
and
ya.
they tricked us. So, yeah.
Unless Loki is somehow putting the eye back on with a hologram.
That's the hologram.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
No.
What did you think about we haven't talked really about Loki other than his hair. He's a trickster, and he betrays a little bit, and then he's sort of
He's Loki.
He's Loki.
And
that's what he is now. He's the god of mischief rather than anything. He's like accepted his place,
which I like that. I like that there was not this like, because they can't fully redeem him, and I'm glad they're not going to do that. It seems like I actually really like the conversation. I mean, that's the growth, I guess, of the arc in the movie, right?
Sure.
Is that conversation between Thor and Hulk? Like, listen, we can't change each other. Like, I can't change you. You are who we are. And by somehow not fighting against Loki but accepting Loki, it's the first time Loki actually listens. It feels like, it really is the first time he'll stop and he listens to what Thor has to say, and maybe it affects him in some sort of way. And do I say a spoiler here? For Infinity War.
Everything.
Infinity War spoilers.
Go for it. Well, okay. Special Infinity War.
Infinity War spoilers. Heard that this is not like custom. This is just like some other internet people who heard. But anyways, point is, people who've seen the footage at D23.
Yeah.
Because they show it. Loki does hand Thanos the cube.
What a dick!
But he does not look happy about it. He looks forced into doing it this time.
Okay,
so before he kind of would have willingly gave it.
Yeah.
And now we're in this third Avengers movie, because there's obviously that shot at the end of the third act movie where it's like, Loki's grabbing that.
Well, yeah,
but he forcibly has to give it to Thanos.
I really think that he fucked up the Avengers thing on purpose. I think he had a little bit of a thing where he wanted to get. Well, he didn't expect the Avengers to come together, but I think he was going to somehow sabotage the Thanos thing.
I don't know, like, how in depth about that.
Maybe not.
But there's that moment though where Thor and him, where he goes, "It's too late." But he says that not in the way of like, "It's too late, you're fucked." He says that in the way of like, "I kind of agree with you, but I kind of already fucked up. It's too late."
Right. Yeah.
So too late is not a villain. It's too late.
Exactly.
So
I don't know. I don't know.
I feel
we could go on for forever about fan theories and what we think this is going to unfold. But I'm cautiously optimistic about how the whole Infinity War thing is going to play out. What did you? Then we cut back to Oden and him giving some advice from beyond the grave.
Oh my god, I totally forgot that Kevin Costner was in this movie on top of a mountain talking to Superman. Because that's all I remember. I was like, wait, why is Kevin Costner in this? I know it's not, but that's the same.
No, I know exactly.
You know, but that's literally the same scene. I was like, wait, did you guys not watch Batman vs Superman? Like, why would you put this scene in the movie?
This is where he gets his power from. His confidence from.
I take that back because I do like the idea that scene works.
This is better.
And it's needed, and it's better. But I did think of that kind of funny because it was just too similar of a situation.
Yeah.
I would have found maybe a different way to get it in there.
Yeah.
But again, that's the thing about it. The jokes help. Yeah. Because if it takes itself seriously there, I would be bitching a lot more about this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
But the thing is, I see the problem. I go, you know what? That doesn't look great, or I'm not fully buying the way they're doing this.
But they just made me laugh.
But I'm laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
So it's like that because it is like, you're not the god of fucking hammers, you know? You're the god of thunder.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, okay.
So I mean, what do we got? Scourge dies with guns. That's kind of interesting because it is a nod to his character in the thing. Whatever.
I've seen the comic stills of him with the guns. I'm glad they did that, but it would have been cool if there was a reason.
Yeah, I agree. And then we sacrifice Asgard with the character that they set up at the very beginning of the movie.
Yes. Oh, let's talk about him.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
played by
Taika Waititi again.
No. Clancy Brown.
Well, no, Taika did the mocap.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay,
Clancy Brown did the voice, I think.
Very true.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And so their solution to kill. We haven't even. Did we mention that it was Cate Blanchett?
No, because we're awful.
We're awful. She is a national treasure, and she's not even our nation.
No, she's great in it. She's
wonderful.
I mean, she doesn't, again, talk the same thing. She doesn't have too much to do. It's Marvel villain problem, right?
Right.
It's the same Marvel villain problem they always have.
The set.
There's no more scenes than they get. They have the same amount of scenes they always have.
It's pretty standard.
But she is Cate Blanchett. So you like it, and I wish she was on screen more, and I enjoy it. I mean,
absolutely,
this is not Malekith. This isn't. What's the fucking dude in Doctor Strange names again? Now I already forgot.
Oh, Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
whatever his name is.
Calabar. I know it's not that, but
Mordor.
No, Caecilius.
So
fuck, it did help.
Oh my god, that is close.
Yeah.
Yes, Caecilius.
Calabar is the villain in Halloween Town, obviously, the famous Disney Channel film.
Naturally.
Which I will say, going back, Calabar 2, Halloween Town 2, The Revenge of Calabar, was actually the most disappointed I've ever been in any sequel in my life. No theatrical film disappointed me more. Because it's not even a theatrical film. The TV movie disappointed me more than any theatrical performance ever.
My goodness.
It was a pretty... 11-year-old me was like, how did you fuck up Halloween Town 2?
That's horrifying.
I wanted to write a letter. I was lucky that... Oh, man. Oof. There was internet forums for Disney Channel movies back then.
You would have torn it
apart.
So the Foundations... Surtur destroys Hela.
Yes.
By
well, she's alive. Let's be real.
Maybe.
No, she's 100% alive.
You think?
What is Thanos' goal?
To bring.
Well, he was to court death. All right.
Oh,
to court death.
Oh, so you think that she is going to
100% she's alive.
Interesting.
They did not show
because
a close
they're
up dying.
not.
They cut to whenever they cut to a giant wide shot,
right?
And you never cut. They never cut to a hand dead. They never cut to her again.
Right.
The last time we see is a wide shot of Surtur landing on top of her.
Yeah.
She's a fucking god. Okay, she definitely survived that, and she's
the
popping up in Infinity War, and she and Thanos are fucking shit up.
Well, that's interesting because she is the goddess of death, but she is there is the physical representation of death. So it would be interesting to combine those two characters. And the cool thing
maybe
is
she comes back at the end and takes Thanos. Like maybe she has they have a reveal. She had a relationship with Thanos.
Sure.
And at the end, remember they say, what do they say about the Avengers? To fight with them would be to court death. They tell that to Thanos. That fighting the Avengers would bring death to him.
Well,
so what if at the end of 4 they defeat Thanos and Hela comes and brings him down, or like
absolutely. And the interesting thing is, death is usually depicted as a woman in a robe and a skull. So maybe the destruction of Asgard is she has a skull face or half a skull face, something like that.
Whatever.
That'd be cool.
As long as Cate Blanchett, she has to be back.
That would be awesome.
I think so.
My God, there's going to be a lot of people in this next movie.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
So the next, so they leave.
But I really want to talk about that real quick.
Please,
because that is actually one thing that is cool.
Okay.
I mean, it's played out in like any other movie, right? But that is they actually. I mean, while the stakes aren't there.
Okay.
They do blow up Asgard.
Yeah.
So we had to point that out.
Again,
that,
the Eye and the Asgard were both surprises because I was like, well, they'll take it back. They'll roll it back, and then they'll. Where's the time turner?
Yeah.
You know, where's Doc Brown? You know, like it's somehow they're gonna reverse this
I think
effect,
this whole
and
thing
then
is going
maybe
back
not.
though with the time stone.
Well, the interesting thing,
I think Avengers 3 and 4. I think it's all. I think end of the whole thing. Asgard's still going to be there.
Yeah,
we're going to have a She-Hulk like in 5-6 years. I mean, She-Hulk, She-Thor, girl Thor.
Sure.
This is what I also heard an idea randomly.
Who is supposed to be Natalie Portman's character?
What if you randomly just give Valkyrie the hammer? Right? Ooh. They make a new hammer, give it to her, or she makes the hammer again.
I would rather that be because they can't do Jane Foster. But
fuck Jane Foster. She didn't want to be in those movies anyways.
That'd be great. Yeah, no, absolutely. Make her. Make Valkyrie the worthy one. Yeah, absolutely. Funny enough, in the after. Yes.
Sorry, keep going. No, go.
After Asgard is exploded in the comics, they set up a floating island in I think Oklahoma.
Oh.
And that's where the survivors go. And he's just hanging out in Oklahoma, and there's like some Earthlings that are like, "I don't take kindly to no gods."
Alien. All right, let's do
alien gods.
Let's do something different than that, please, MCU. Yes, I don't think they're gonna go to a whole bunch. What I got excited about was when we didn't talk about was Mjolnir. So that means that was made for Hela, right? Well, she's worthy. She crushed it. It was made for her, and then she was banished, and then he ended up just
more powerful,
and then she just hammied it down to him.
I think it's
but it's not
I think
about
it was
more
made
powerful.
for
He whispered into it though, right? Like
that created the inscription.
Was the bond? But the whole thing in general is like if you're not worthy, you can't pick it up. So she had to be worthy at one point, or is worthy, or was deemed worthy by Odin.
I just think it looked to me like she had ultimate power.
Yeah.
Over everything. I don't think it was made for her, but
I'm looking past those.
Obviously, but I don't think that. I think it was created for Thor, because she was very powerful to both of them. She outpowered them, but it turned out that Thor got better at fighting from fighting the Hulk, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's why he could sort of take her on at the end, and also he was the attacking.
Yeah, well, he's now the power of thunder. He's unleashed his full potential.
That's true. So we see that happened. It's all exploded, and he and Loki are like, we're cool, but it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
And then we get to the post-credit scene where they are heading to Earth.
Yes, but let's just wrap up real quick. The very end of the movie is obviously we talked about. It's him getting on the throne. They're flying away.
Right.
To go set up the place in Oklahoma.
Yeah, probably. Or more likely Norway. It seemed like that's what
more
Odin
likely
thought.
A nice stage in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But so the movie ends that way, cuts to black, the credits go as usual. They do the cool Marvel always does nice visual designs,
creative
for their credits.
stuff.
And then of course after the first part of the credits we get the first of 2 post-credit scenes.
That's right. And that was them flying through space, and Loki asks if Earth will accept him.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, maybe not. That's going to be awkward.
Yeah.
And then
Which they didn't notice him before because they were taking selfies with Thor, but, Loki was standing right next to him.
Well, why would... Anyway. Hey, weren't you the guy who tried to destroy... You were in Germany, right?
You remember
you made
Thor.
a bunch of people kneel? That was weird. But then they come into... It seems like they just weren't looking outside because that ship just didn't appear. That was like 4 times the size of their ship.
Yeah.
And it has been confirmed that it is Thanos' ship called the Sanctuary 2.
Whoa.
Because his original floating island
rock
hangout was called Sanctuary. I guess.
So he's not very original or creative with names.
No, he's just like I got a theme.
But to be a good evil villain, it's like being a genius. You know, you have to you don't think about the clothes you wear. Einstein wore the same clothes every day, so it's like,
yes, exactly.
Why do I gotta take all this time and effort? Like I would do. I would sit there for way too long and think how important the name of the ship is.
That's
but
right. It's all about branding.
But Thanos, all he cares about, he just wants to blow shit up. He wants to destroy the world.
Yeah.
So you know what? Sanctuary 2, Sanctuary 3, Sanctuary 27.
Good on him. Yeah.
Good for you.
Just
he's motivated.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
So then we sort of hinted at the post-credit, the final scene with lovely Mr. Goldblum.
Which was the best.
Falling out of the... Yeah.
The best one since the first Avengers at the very end, I think.
The shawarma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the very, very end credits.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And he... It takes teamwork, you know. It takes someone to rebel against. Oh God, that was fantastic.
It's a tie. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And his delivery spot on for every single one of his jokes. So I think that wraps up the movie.
Boom. Yeah, I think it's time to give some scores and let us know how we feel ranks against the other Thor films and the other MCU
and
films.
we would absolutely love to hear about what you guys think. Right, Jay? Why don't you chime in with your what did you think?
All right, so I guess we're giving our scores now. So this is the 17th film in the MCU, and to me, it's middle of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have it right now as my 10th favorite MCU film out of 17.
Right. Sure.
I was hoping to like it. Mm-hmm. Clearly, everyone says, "Oh, it's by far the best Thor movie," and you know, I'm not I think I'll give it a slight edge to it, but. I think Thor 1 and Thor 3 are the same level. They're very different types of movie trying to achieve different things. And I think Thor succeeds better at some of the other things. Like Thor's not as funny and the growth, but there is an arc, and I do like Loki's villain is kind of strong in that, and there's some things. But so I would both give them the same basic grade of a B-. That's my score.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say Thor Ragnarok is a tad better than the first Thor film overall. Slightly, maybe, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a B-.
Okay.
So sorry to everybody. Still a thumbs up. I still enjoyed it. I mean, if you're a fan of the MCU, you're gonna love it.
Objective, man. Yeah.
I mean, I still like it. I'll get the Blu-ray, but I don't know how much it's gonna live up to me. And I gotta be honest, I could see it dropping to a C+ on a second viewing.
Oh
easily.
my!
I could see me giving it the thumbs down next time, but it could also just stay the same. But I'm gonna go B-. All
right.
I'm gonna say it's good. It's enjoyable. It's a fun time, as everyone said, but as we stated, doesn't quite have the stakes or the emotion or any of the character stuff that I feel like it needed to have to be. So I guess I like Civil War, better than that, and Spider-Man more than I liked Thor.
I would say that. Yeah. I mean, this again falls middle of the pack for me as well. I think 9 for my list. I'm just kidding. I haven't made a list.
I was going to say, wow, I was really surprised. I was like, damn, AJ,
It's encyclopedic in my brain box. But no, this had its flaws the more we talk about it, definitely.
I actually liked it a bit more than what we talked about it.
Yeah, no, the sheen of it, the just taking it all in and ignoring that horrible Norway scene. I really enjoyed the ride of the whole thing. The stakes weren't there, but gosh darn it, it made me smile, and that's like consistently throughout the whole thing. So and it didn't. One thing was when he was fighting Hela, I was like, just don't screw up for the next 10 minutes, and you've got me.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna give this an 84.
Nice.
A solid B.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the perfect movie, but just the initial feeling after walking out of the theater, I was flying. So
yeah, you'll definitely have a fun time watching it. I think there's no doubt about that. It's
and hopefully you have if you've listened this far.
I'm assuming,
because otherwise, I mean, unless you just enjoy going in with a primer of us. But yeah, that's
thanks, Mom.
So thanks, Dad. But yeah, so that's Thor Ragnarok, I think. Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Yes, and don't forget, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe.
Also, down in the description there, we have links to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, also iTunes. Please review and subscribe on there. It really helps us out.
Yes, and that's all. I guess we'll see you next time. Thor out.
Oh, that is so satisfying. Starring Chris Hemsworth. Fuck me. God damn it. Rainbow fuck me. God damn it. The 17th installment of... fuck me.